why teaching? Why is that important? Good morning and welcome into Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. I'm Chris Yao. Got a fantastic show lined up for you. We have a Mayor's Corner, Scott Stewart. Got to sit down with Pulaski's mayor. We'll have that for you a little bit later. We've also got all of the ribbon cuttings from Spring Hill and in Giles County as well. We've also got a special report from Columbia Academy where they have received some AEDs and trauma kits from a governor's grant. So really excited to bring you today's show. Of course, we've got sports and weather as well. So stick around for all of that. But right now, we're going to get you the news on the wrap. On the front page of Main Street Maury this week, our top story comes from a situation at Columbia Central High School where the alleged school shooter hoax took place back in May. A man has been arrested in connection with his response to the event as Roy Brooks, a former firefighter in Columbia, was indicted last week for carrying a weapon on school grounds. He was not authorized to be there, and so he was indicted on those charges. There's full details in there, as well as a situation where Dr. Michael Steele, the principal at Columbia Central, found himself suspended after last week. So there are details involving all of that in that story. You can also find on the front page a print story about those AEDs I just mentioned and trauma kits from Columbia Academy, as well as an update on the guaranteed maximum price for the Judicial Center here in Maury County. And a development in Spring Hill was denied at the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. A rezoning request was denied. And so you can find details there as well. All of that and much, much more on the inside of Main Street Maury. So make sure to pick up your copy. Right now, we're going to send you down to Pulaski where Scott Stewart is standing by.
Hey everybody, it's Scott Stewart with the Pulaski Citizen Wrap for the week. Before I get started on the newspaper this week, I want to make sure you guys know that coming up here in just a few minutes, I've got an interview with Pulaski Mayor J.J. Brindley. And look, our interview went so well that I'm going to have 2 or 3 segments out of this coming up over the next couple of weeks. So make sure you don't miss any of it because there's a lot of information that J.J. wants to share with about what's going on in the city of Pulaski. We've got an extra special Pulaski citizen this week, beginning with our citizen spotlight, who is Pat Woodard, and she's right there at the top of the front page. The front page also teases to our annual emergency responders salute section that we do every year. The Here's the Beef Festival is coming, and we've got a front page article about the Here's the Beef, as well as an insert that is inside the paper this week that tells you all the events, the exhibits, everything you need to know about Here's the Beef is right there in this week's Pulaski Citizen. Last week, Giles County Executive Graham Stowe gave the county's governing body a C in the annual report for the county. Read what he had to say right there on the front page in this week's paper. The city of Pulaski is making an offer on the old Merco or Genesco building, depending on what generation you are, over on Cemetery Street near Sam Davis Park. You can find out all about that on the front page. There was a bad wreck at the intersection of Highway 31 and the bypass Friday. You can find out how that wreck occurred. And on the front page this week, we celebrate Richmond's first win of the football season with a front page photo from their game last week. Inside, we follow up with the story of a local market that had been accused of selling beer to minors, and they had another hearing in front of the city's beer board. Also inside are the results of last week's county commission meeting, which includes the votes that were made on nonprofit charitable organization funding. Giles Pass features Stella this week. Margaret has recipes for that end of summer party that y'all have coming up this weekend. Last but not least, the one question that we've been asked over and over again since we joined the Main Street Media Tennessee family, are we going to still have fearless forecasters? That is answered this week. The back of B section, there it is. Fearless forecasters. And that answer is yes, so, by the way. For all you guys who've stopped me and asked me, Fearless Forecasters is back. The folks at Main Street Media embraced our Fearless Forecasters page just like you guys have. So it's there. We got our box right up here. Don't forget our offices now are right here on the square. So if you take them to the old place, you're going to end up having to come up here anyway. Make sure you bring them up here or mail them in as you have in the past. The deadlines are all on the page, and we're fired up for another season of college and pro football in the Fearless Forecasters. We'll be right back after this.
Having a good, confident smile and being able to portray that positivity to others is really helpful.
A professional family atmosphere is what we get every time we come here.
Our hygienists do a better job at kind of assessing mouths and coming up with plans than most dentists do.
They're very kind and they're very aware of other people.
I think if there's things that I would want you to leave here with, I want you to feel like you were heard, that we listened to you, and I want you to feel like that your concerns were addressed.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Welcome back into Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. I'm Chris Yao. Had a chance to go to Columbia Academy earlier this week where they were awarded several new AEDs, both permanent and mobile, as well as 4 trauma kits and backpacks from Ikanos Emergency Management. Got a chance to talk with Randall Roby and Ben Jones. Randall Roby, the CEO of Ikanos, and Ben Jones, the head of security at Columbia Academy, told us a little bit about how they procured these AEDs and trauma kits, as well as why it's important to have them. So we'll take you to Columbia Academy now.
So what we've done is we've been able to procure several AEDs and trauma kits from him that will be distributed across the campus. We already have several AEDs on campus. This is more to complement what we already have in place and give them a little bit more resources. This way we will have more AEDs and medical supplies within reach of more of our sports teams, our recess teams, people that are just spread out across campus. Because if you've never been to our school before, we're a very big, beautiful, sprawling campus, which has its both pros and cons. One of those is that how do we make sure that we have resources available for people that are at a recess, using our practice fields that are away from our main buildings throughout the day. This is one great solution for that. So as you can see, we have several boxes as well as AEDs that will be spread out across the campus, as well as these trauma kits. These have a large variety of medical supplies in there that are enough to do pretty much anything that you can need to do short of an ambulance showing up. That way we can go ahead and treat whatever we need to treat while we have resources coming in from either first responders for the paramedics, fire department, EMS, ambulance, and police services. We try to plan for every kind of contingency we can. That's much more difficult when you think of the large variety of things that can happen. However, we try to get everybody CPR certified throughout the year, which includes AEDs and EpiPens to help accommodate those kind of emergencies that we might encounter. Everybody's, the biggest concern is, active shooter, active killer situations. And while we do prepare for that, by far, we've had to dial 911 for medical emergencies. We have a number of kids with severe allergies that carry their own EpiPens. Even though we have some that we keep supplied just in case, we have severe allergies. We have kids that just trip and fall and get hurt. We've had kids that have compound fractures before, skateboarding, fall off that. You have a bone sticking to the skin. And then, of course, kids running on the playground, slip and fall, and their head hits just right to where now we have a skull fracture. Any kind of number of things that has happened in the past and could happen again. Unfortunately, there's really no way to prevent some of these things. So since we can't prevent it, we prepare as best we can to make sure we get the resources there as quickly as possible.
Columbia Academy applied for and received grant funds under the GEAR Act, which is the Governor's Emergency Education Relief Fund. And those funds were made available to non-public schools. And so CA put in for those. We helped them put together the grant application and send in the information, which is they had a very short turnaround, and so CA worked really hard to get that put together and then sent in. And what they were able to secure funding for were the AEDs and the trauma kits. And then Ikanos, as an emergency management company, we're the provider of the equipment then.
Yeah, this is great news for our school, and we're really thankful for the funding from the state, and for Ben Jones, our Director of Security, his work to make it happen, and partnering with Ikanos, if I can say that right. Yeah, we're thrilled. Student safety is hugely important to us. It's our first priority. If they're not safe, we can't impact them with our mission, so we try to make sure they're safe, and Ben's main job is to train our teachers to know what to do to take care of our students in every situation. He works on that all the time. He's also an armed person on our campus, and this year we've added our third armed staff member. So we've made a lot of investments, but this is a super addition for us to have more AEDs and trauma kits, and we hope that they get a lot of dust on them, but we're ready to use them if we need to.
All right, stick around with more Mornings on Main Street right after this.
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic.
Welcome back into Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. A lot of new businesses are popping up in and around Southern Middle Tennessee, so we're going to show you some of those ribbon cuttings that have taken place recently in both Spring Hill and down in Giles County on The Cut. Stick around. We've got more Mornings on Main Street from Southern Middle Tennessee coming your way right after this.
Having a good, confident smile and being able to portray that positivity to others is really helpful.
A professional family atmosphere is what we get every time we come here.
Our hygienists do a better job at kind of assessing mouths and coming up with plans than most dentists do.
They're very kind and they're very aware of other people.
I think if there's things that I would want you to leave here with, I want you to feel like you were heard, that we listened to you, and I want you to feel like that your concerns were addressed.
Welcome in, everybody. I'm here at the Pulaski City Hall in the Pulaski City Council room, and I'm with Pulaski Mayor J.J. Brindley. How you doing, buddy?
Doing fine, Mr. Scott. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. We talked a couple of months ago, and J.J. had kind of been in office about 6 months. Now he's going on about 8 or 9 months now.
Yes, sir.
Thought we'd get back together, maybe go back over some ground that we covered there, but there's a lot that has gone on with the city of Pulaski. And so I thought we'd just start this off again. I asked you this last time, but I'll ask you again. Talk about your first year as mayor so far.
Well, it hasn't been a year yet, but it's, I tell you, lately it's drinking out of a fire hose. It's probably about the best way I know how to explain it. But it's been fun. I've enjoyed every minute of it. We've been extremely busy, as I think everyone knows, but I'm really enjoying it. I've really gotten my feet wet. I'm getting really comfortable in a good way of knowing how some of the things work that I didn't understand before. So I'm really enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah, maybe talk just a real quick second, and I may hit you with something you weren't ready for, but that's okay. The difference between what you were expecting it to be when you were running for it and what it is.
Yeah, sure. Everybody thinks that, being mayor, that you can do anything, and you can't. It doesn't work that way. We have a city council that I respect fully and lean on them very heavily. But I have people. Sometimes they see me out somewhere, and they'll say. They'll ask, why did so and so change their menu at a restaurant? I was like, I have no control over that. You'll be surprised of things that the city doesn't put in bowling alleys. We don't put in restaurants. We will help recruit that, and in the recruitment, we'll get into EDC director and some new hires, but we are working on a plan for that. But people. It's very, and it's hard to understand. And one of the things is what's the city, what's the county?
Oh, that's a big,
very big
misconception.
Yeah. It's a great relationship with County Executive Mr. Stowe, and I enjoy working with him. But a lot of people, they'll call me and say, well, what can you do? I want a speed bump on my road in Campbellsville. I'm like, if it's not in the city limits, and you'll be surprised how small the city limits really is. Yeah. And, people call about schools and whatnot, and I always try to help any way I can, but the county controls the schools. And so people, it's just a misconception of what people really just don't understand.
Yeah, and a lot of times people that have moved here that don't know different, and there's people that's lived here all their lives that really haven't really noticed that there's a difference. As we're talking about the difference between the city and the county, I just would wanted to ask this question because I know there are people that think the city council, the Pulaski, city of Pulaski operates out of the Giles County Courthouse, and we know that's not true. Mm-hmm. And but what has happened here at City Hall, which by the way is across the street from First National Bank, some of the stuff that's going on in here is another part of what's been going on since you came in. The beautification out front, they've taken out a couple of big old trees. Talk a little bit about what's going on here at City Hall.
Yeah, excited about the past administration really put this plan together, so I have to give them the credit for this. But we are going to be upgrading our facade of our building. So many people don't know, again, where the City Hall is, just because, one, you couldn't ever see it, but two, they just didn't. They think we operate out of the courthouse. Right. So we're going to be doing a really nice facade upgrade. It's going to all new sidewalks out front, new windows, paneling. The building's going to be painted. There hasn't been much done to this building at all since 1965 when it was constructed. So we're excited just to, we can't ask everybody to, hey, get aggressive about fixing up our downtown, fixing up our buildings if we're not willing to fix our own buildings up.
So what's been going on for the last 6 to 8 months, JJ? A lot, I know. Maybe hit some of the high points. Anything you want to tell us about that you want to highlight as far as what's going on?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. We have been really focused on grants and grant funding. There's a lot of grants out there, and Tennessee is giving away a lot of money. And I'm just a strong believer that we need to be extremely active in this.
If it's out there, man.
If it's out there, go get it. Somebody else is applying for it, so we have just as much right to go after these. And we've received a lot of grants here recently. So we're working on our water treatment plant. We're the sidewalk expansions. One things that we're working on right now is, and this will bring up a whole nother thing, but we're connecting Madison Street to the UT Southern campus, just on our part. But we're going to light that up nice and be a good corridor for UT Southern students coming in and out of our square. But we have, we're redoing a bridge here, and I believe the Cleveland Street is the bridge we're redoing there. We have a multimodal grant from TDOT. We have a lot of grants that we've been after and we're receiving, and we're working on one right now with the Trail of Tears, and we'd spend all day if I told you about them all, but we're being extremely active in that.
You were talking about the trail that or the sidewalks going down into UT Southern. That's part of a bigger deal. The City of Pulaski's connecting the square to the campus, and then from the campus on out is one of these multimodal grants you were talking about that's supposed to take us all the way out to the west side of town.
Yes, and that's been in the works for a while, and that's going to be, as communities grow, and a lot of people nowadays, riding bikes, walking is a big thing. They want to be able to walk to Walmart. They want to be able to walk to East Campus, especially for the students. And so their safety is something that we take, and not just the students, it's everyone.
Absolutely.
We want people from TCAT. If the students there want to live on our downtown and walk to school, we want them to be able to access that. And so we're excited about that. And the project will go from downtown all the way to right at TCAT as well.
Right, yeah, that was the other part of it. Of course, the one that you're working on now is the one that will go out west. There's another one that's a little further, not quite as far down the road. These things take 4 or 5 years just to even get work started. So, those two, one going east and one going west, we got those coming. What you were talking about down at the Trail of Tears, JJ, I believe is a gazebo.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. They're one of our only city parks that don't have a gazebo.
Yeah, I didn't know that until you said it before.
I'd encourage anyone to go there to visit what all they have to offer. They've got a lot of new things. I was surprised of everything that they had to offer and went in. Miss Louie, everybody, whenever I go down there, is open. They want people to come. Miss Tatum, they're very passionate about what they're doing, and I would encourage everybody to go by there and just check out to see what they're doing.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo, Patton, and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, 3-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best-looking girl, Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
Welcome back into Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. I'm Chris Yao. It's time now to take a look at sports. We've got Maurice Patton in Maury County and Wade Neely from down in Giles County at the Pulaski Citizen. So right now we'll start in Maury County with Mo.
Thanks, Chris. In this week's Main Street Maury, you can see coverage of the first win of the Tredarius Goff era in Columbia Central football, as well as Mount Pleasant's win over Spring Hill. Coverage of all of our high school football programs in the area, including Columbia Academy's road win. What else do we have? We've also got a story on a change at the top of the post-19 seniors baseball program. So check that out. Oh, don't want to forget Columbia Central Hall of Famer and former TSSAA Executive Director Bernard Childress receiving the top award that the Columbia Peace and Justice Initiative presents. So we've got coverage of that as well. And our high school football coverage continues with Red Zone Rundown. We've got standings, we've got stats, we've got the Main Street Preps Top 25, and this week's schedule. Oh, and Mostradamus for week 3. So be sure and check out the print edition of Main Street Maury.
Thanks, Mo. Giles County, Wade Neely standing by with an update from the Pulaski Citizen.
Wade Neely here, sports editor of the Pulaski Citizen. We're coming to you live from Rotary Soccer Park, where in just a few moments Giles County is set to host Marshall County. Big district showdown here, a match that you'll be able to listen to by the time you're watching this on Pulaski Citizen Live. Download the Mixler app and search PCL GCHS. You can find a archive broadcast. But what's going on in the Pulaski Citizen this week? It was a mixed bag for Giles County and Richland in terms of gridiron success, as Richland got its first win of the year, but Giles County suffered a heartbreaker on the road. Richland winning 23-15, taking on Cascade. Bryce Miller had a great week offensively for the Raiders. Also saw touchdowns from Nash Petty and Jake Sands. And then Giles County suffers a tough loss, 34-28. They led the whole first half. They led by a touchdown on 4 different occasions. The teams did not score a single point in the third quarter after a shootout in the first half. But in the fourth quarter, Hardin County cashes in on not 1 but 2 Giles County fumbles. And the hometown Tigers knock off the Bobcats again, 34-28, your final there. The road does not get any easier for both Giles County or Richland. The Bobcats are at home this Friday versus Fayetteville City. Both teams are 0-2. Both teams are hungry for a win. Richland is taking on Wayne County, as the Wildcats will come calling to the Wayne Hobbs Memorial Stadium. Again, both of those games coming your way at 7 p.m. Yours truly and Chris Bledsoe will broadcast the Giles County Showdown. Jennifer Hawkins and Mark Mize will have your Richland broadcast. So we got football coverage in the paper. We also talked about the Bobcat and Raider golf teams. Extreme heat last week, but they did get 1 round in. We had some great success for both of our programs there as they continue to navigate through their respective seasons. We also, as always, got content and a great piece in this week's edition from our good friend and our good pal, Mr. Larry Woody. Also got some bonus coverage from the Gridiron. Got a full recap from the South Giles Eagles in their tough loss to Cornersville last Tuesday. And we have select photos from the Richland Junior Raiders, who lost to Wayne County. And we have select photos from Ardmore, who suffered a tough loss, 16-7 to West Limestone in their opener. So got a little bit of everything in this week's edition of the Pulaski Citizen. Make sure you pick it up on newsstands, or make sure, as always, you check it out online at PulaskiCitizen.com. From Rotary Soccer Park, I'm Wade Neely saying so long. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, fellas. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the weather right after this on Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Center, this is your weather today.
Good Wednesday morning to you. I'm Kelly Rawson in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center with the Check It Your forecast for your Wednesday. We are going to see a mixture of sunshine and clouds throughout the day, but we're going to start off sunny for this morning with temperatures in the lower 60s, and it also will be very breezy today. Wind gusts up to 25 miles an hour. We do stay dry for your Wednesday, and you see these clouds off to our east. That's actually from Hurricane Idalia. However, we will not be impacted other than a little bit of gusty winds, again up to 20-25 miles an hour, as we are on the very northern side of this storm after a frontal passage. So it's kind of a double whammy in why we are going to be seeing a little bit of windy conditions for today. But again, we will stay dry for the rest of today and for the evening. Those clouds quickly clearing out. We will be clear overnight for Wednesday night and Thursday morning as well. Here's your 7-day forecast from the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We are looking at temperatures in the low to mid 80s for highs for today and tomorrow, middle 80s for Friday, and we stay dry for the rest of this week. For this weekend as well as next week, aside from Friday, we do have a stray rain chance, but overall we are looking mainly dry as temperatures gradually warm.
And that's going to do it for this edition of Mornings on Main Street, Southern Middle Tennessee. We're here on Main Street Media TV each and every week at 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. Make sure to tune in, but also don't forget to download the Roku, Apple TV, or Fire Stick app, or on your iPhone or Android device. Just search Main Street Media TV. For everyone, I'm Chris Yao. Have a great day.